Today, imagine a city of stone standing on a hill in southern Africa. High walls, curving passages, a tower made without mortar, carved birds watching from stone.
That sounds like a lost kingdom.
It was a real city, built by real people, connected to trade networks that reached far beyond the region.
Then where is the mystery?
The mystery is not only how the city was built.
Then what is it?
Why did some outsiders refuse to believe Africans built it?
That is a different kind of mystery.
Yes, it's a mystery about evidence, power, and who gets believed by history.
Today, we are opening the case of Great Zimbabwe.
The stone city that corrected a false story.
Welcome to Mystery English, the show where we learn English by exploring real mysteries, strange questions, and ideas that make us think.
I am Maya.
And I am Theo.
Each episode, we open a new case file, a strange event, an unsolved question, or a curious idea that still makes people wonder.
And along the way, we help you build your English with clear conversation, useful vocabulary, idioms, and questions to think about.
Today's case, Great Zimbabwe.
Listen closely. Every mystery has clues.
And every clue is a chance to learn.
As we investigate, keep three questions in mind.
First, what was Great Zimbabwe?
The city,
Second, what evidence shows who built it?
the archaeology,
And third, why did colonial myths become so powerful?
the history question.
Exactly. Our English focus today is attribution and correction.
Phrases like was built by, was wrongly attributed to, evidence shows, and the claim ignored.
Right. This episode needs language that can name false claims clearly and correct them with evidence.
So we're not just learning facts, we're learning how to set the record straight.
Good idiom preview.
I try.
Let us begin with the place. Great Zimbabwe is an archaeological site near Musvingo in modern Zimbabwe.
And the country is named after the site.
Yes, the word Zimbabwe is often translated from Shona as stone houses or houses of stone.
So the name of the country carries the memory of the place.
It does. Great Zimbabwe is not only an archaeological ruin, it's also a national symbol.
When was it built?
UNESCO describes the site as built between about 1100 and 1450 AD. It became a major city, especially in the 14th century.
So this was medieval Africa.
Correct. While castles and cathedrals were being built in Europe, major cities and states were also developing in Africa.
That comparison matters.
It does, because many people learned a false version of history that treated Africa as if it had no complex past.
And Great Zimbabwe proves that false.
Yes, the site includes three main areas: the hill ruins, the Great Enclosure, and the valley ruins.
What is an enclosure?
An enclosure is an area surrounded by a wall or barrier. The Great Enclosure is famous for its large, curved stone walls and a conical tower inside.
Conical means shaped like a cone.
Right.
And the walls were built without mortar.
Yes, the builders used dry stone masonry.
Masonry means building with stone or brick.
Correct. Dry stone masonry means stones are carefully shaped, placed, and balanced without wet mortar holding them together.
That requires skill.
A lot of skill. The walls include careful courses of granite blocks and decorative patterns, including chevron and checkered designs.
So this is not random piles of stone.
Not at all. It shows planning, labor, engineering, and aesthetic choice.
Aesthetic means connected to beauty or design.
Yes,
What did people do there?
Great Zimbabwe was a political, economic, and ritual center. Archaeologists connect it with Shona-speaking communities and a powerful state.
What made it wealthy?
Agriculture, cattle, craft production, and long-distance trade. Excavations have found objects such as glass beads, imported ceramics, and coins that point to connections with the Indian Ocean world.
So the city was not isolated.
No, it was connected to trade routes that linked the African interior with the coast and beyond.
That changes the picture.
It should. Great Zimbabwe was part of a wider world.
What about the famous birds?
Soapstone birds were found at the site. They became important symbols, and the Zimbabwe bird appears on the national flag of Zimbabwe.
Dopestone is a soft stone used for carving.
Yes, the birds show that the site carried ritual and political meaning, not just practical function.
So Great Zimbabwe was a city, a trade center, a political place, and a symbolic place.
Bit summary.
Then why did people deny that Africans built it?
That is the painful part of the episode. In the colonial period, some European writers and settlers claimed that Great Zimbabwe must have been built by outsiders.
Outsiders like who?
Different theories pointed to Phoenicians, Arabs, Egyptians, or biblical figures. The details changed, but the pattern was the same.
The pattern was someone else must have built it,
Exactly.
because they could not imagine Africans building a city like that.
Yes, that was not an evidence problem. It was a bias problem.
Bias means an unfair preference or belief that affects judgment.
Correct. Colonial bias made some people ignore local knowledge and archaeological evidence.
What did the evidence actually show?
Professional archaeologists found that Great Zimbabwe was medieval and African in origin. The material culture, construction, pottery, local traditions, and settlement history all point to local builders.
So the false story was not based on stronger evidence.
No, it was based on an assumption about who was capable of civilization.
That is a serious sentence.
It needs to be. Let me try a quick case check.
Go ahead.
Great Zimbabwe was a major stone city in southern Africa, connected with Shona-speaking people.
Good.
Its walls were built with dry stone masonry without mortar.
Yes.
The city was connected to farming, cattle, craft production, and long-distance trade.
Correct.
Some colonial writers wrongly attributed it to outsiders, but archaeological evidence supports local African origin.
That is the useful heart of the episode. Now can we collect the language clues?
First word, ruin.
A ruin is what remains of an old building or place after it has been damaged or abandoned. Example: Great Zimbabwe is one of Africa's most important archaeological ruins.
Second word, masonry.
Masonry is building with stone or brick. Example: the dry stone masonry at Great Zimbabwe shows expert craftsmanship.
Third word, enclosure.
An enclosure is an area surrounded by walls. Example: the great enclosure has high curved stone walls.
Fourth word, trade network.
A trade network is a system of places and people connected by exchanging goods. Example: imported beads show that Great Zimbabwe was part of a trade network.
Fifth word, bias.
Bias is an unfair belief or preference that affects judgment. Example: colonial bias led some writers to reject the African origin of Great Zimbabwe.
Good. That gives us a compact toolbox. Remains, building method, space, connection, and unfair judgment.
Useful for history and for daily argument.
Our idiom today is set the record straight.
To set the record straight means to correct a false or mistaken story.
Example: archaeology helped set the record straight about Great Zimbabwe.
Everyday example: I need to set the record straight. I did not cancel the meeting.
Good, direct and useful.
What is our grammar in the wild?
Attribution and correction.
Attribution means saying who made something, said something, or caused something.
Right. First pattern was built by.
Great Zimbabwe was built by local African communities.
Good.
Second pattern:
Was wrongly attributed to.
Great Zimbabwe was wrongly attributed to foreign builders by some colonial writers.
Strong sentence.
Third pattern: evidence shows.
Evidence shows that the site was connected to Shona-speaking communities and regional trade.
Fourth pattern: the claim ignored.
The claim ignored local history, material evidence, and African agency.
African agency means the ability of African people to act, create, build, and shape history.
Correct.
Let me try a full answer. Great Zimbabwe was wrongly attributed to outsiders, but the evidence shows that it was built by local African communities with advanced knowledge of stone construction and trade.
Good. That sentence corrects the false claim without losing the evidence.
Now we need theories.
Theory 1, Foreign Builders.
The old colonial theory.
Yes, it claimed that outsiders built Great Zimbabwe because the site seemed too impressive to fit racist assumptions about African history.
That is not a neutral mistake.
No, it was tied to power. If colonizers could deny African achievement, they could present colonization as if it brought civilization instead of disrupting existing societies.
So the false theory served the political purpose.
Correct.
Theory 2, local African builder.
This is the evidence-based explanation. Great Zimbabwe developed from local settlement traditions and became a major Shona-related center.
The walls, pottery, trade goods, and settlement history support that.
Yes, the city was not a mysterious foreign transplant. It was part of Southern African history.
Theory 3, trade made the city powerful.
Trade was important, especially connections involving gold, cattle, craft production, and Indian Ocean networks.
But trade does not mean foreigners built it.
Exactly. Trade means connection, not ownership.
That distinction matters.
Very much.
Theory 4, the site declined because resources and power shifted.
UNESCO notes possible pressures such as food supply and deforestation, and later power shifted towards other centers such as Kami.
So the city was not simply destroyed in one dramatic event.
No, decline can be gradual. Environmental pressure, political change, trade shifts, and population movement.
That's less cinematic, but more realistic.
Often true in history.
What makes Great Zimbabwe meaningful today?
It corrects a false story about African history. It shows that Southern Africa had powerful states, skilled builders, artists, traders, and political systems long before colonial rule.
So the site is not only about the past, it's about how the past is told.
Yes, history is not only what happened, it is also what people are allowed to believe happened.
That is the core.
And Great Zimbabwe forces a better standard. What
Standard.
Believe the evidence, not the prejudice.
Short and clear.
That is the lesson.
What is still uncertain?
Many details remain debated. The exact uses of some spaces, the full political organization, the meanings of certain symbols, and the daily lives of different groups within the city.
So, correcting the false myth does not mean every question is solved.
Correct. The site still has real mysteries, but they are better questions.
Better than, could Africans built this?
Much better. The better questions are, how was power organized? How did trade work? What rituals happened there? How did communities understand the stone spaces?
Those questions respect the builders as human beings.
Exactly.
What is your final answer to today's question?
Why did outsiders refuse to believe Africans built Great Zimbabwe? Because evidence was filtered through colonial bias. The city itself showed skill, trade, power, and local history, but some observers chose a foreign fantasy over an African reality. Archaeology helped set the record straight.
My answer is simpler. The stones were not mysterious because Africans could not build them. They were made mysterious because some people refused to see African achievement.
That is a strong answer.
Great Zimbabwe is not proof of a lost foreign civilization.
No, it is proof that the real history was already powerful enough.
Now it is your turn. Try to explain Great Zimbabwe in English using attribution and correction.
You can begin with, Great Zimbabwe was built by,
Then add, it was wrongly attributed to,
and if you want to correct the story, try, evidence shows that.
Here is a model answer.
Great Zimbabwe was built by local African communities and became an important political and trading center. It was wrongly attributed to foreign builders by some colonial writers. Evidence shows that the site belongs to the history of Shona-speaking people and South African civilization.
Good. For a stronger answer, add a why the false claim mattered.
For example, the false claim mattered because it denied African skill, history, and agency.
Now, make your own answer. What does Great Zimbabwe teach us about evidence and bias?
And ask yourself whose achievements are sometimes ignored because of prejudice.
If you want to practice the vocabulary, grammar, and discussion phrases from this episode, download the free case file worksheet.
And tell us your theory. Why do some false histories last so long?
Until next time, keep your English clear.
And your curiosity sharper than the clue.
This has been Mystery English.